Once upon a time, the most powerful people on the planet were addicted. Presidents, CEOs, movie stars. And the drug wasn't cocaine, it was a phone. They called it the BlackBerry, a tiny device with a clicky keyboard that could send emails, texts, and power moves before the rest of the world even woke up. In the early 2000s, if you had one, you weren't just connected, you were important. But behind the glowing screens and vibrating messages, a storm was brewing. Two Canadian engineers had built an empire from scratch, Mike Lazaridis and Doug Frigan, fueled by curiosity and caffeine in a small Waterloo office. With the help of a fearless dealmaker, Jim Balsillie, they turned a $15,000 dream into a $60 billion phenomenon. And for a moment, it felt unstoppable. Until 2007, when a man in a black turtleneck held up a rectangle of glass and said, "An iPod, a phone, an internet communicator." The audience laughed. BlackBerry's executives did too, because who would ever want a phone without buttons? That laugh would cost them everything. As Apple and Google rewrote the rules, BlackBerry doubled down on the old ones. They called the iPhone a gimmick. They trusted their fortress of security, their loyal corporate clients, their presidents and bankers. But while they defended the castle walls, the world moved on. Then came the scandals: stock option fraud, encryption wars, government pressure, even riots coordinated through their own messaging app. One controversy after another, until trust cracked like their keyboards. And just when they needed a miracle, came disaster. A tablet that couldn't send emails, a Super Bowl ad that forgot to show the phone, leadership chaos, two CEOs fighting for control while the ship sank beneath them. By 2016, the once mighty king of smartphones was gone. This is the story of the rise and fall of BlackBerry. How brilliance became blindness, how arrogance became downfall, and how even after losing the world's attention, a legend refused to die. Let's rewind to 1984, a time when mobile communication was nothing more than a distant dream. In a small office in Waterloo, Canada, two young engineers, Mike Lazaridis and Douglas Frigan, were sketching out what would become one of the most influential tech companies of all time, Research in Motion, or RIM. With just a $15,000 loan and big ideas, they started small, focusing on niche products that showcased their knack for innovation. Their first breakthroughs were unique technologies like the DigiSync film key code reader, a device used in Hollywood to sync film and audio. Not exactly the flashy gadgets we associate with RIM today, but these early successes helped them stay afloat and earn credibility in the tech world. Enter Jim Balsillie, a 31-year-old Harvard Business School graduate who saw untapped potential in RIM's technology. In 1992, Balsillie took a bold leap. He used his severance package from Sutherland Schultz and remortgaged his house to invest $125,000, securing a 33% stake in the company. His belief in RIM was more than just financial. He joined as chairman and co-CEO, partnering with Lazaridis to transform RIM from a struggling tech firm into a global powerhouse. Under this new partnership, RIM began creating some amazing products. In 1996, they launched the interactive Pager 900, the first device to offer two-way messaging. And in 1999, the game-changing BlackBerry 850 hit the market, making secure real-time email access a reality. Their vision had turned into a revolution. But here's the thing about success: it can sometimes blind you to what's coming next. Could this dream team stay ahead in an industry that never stops evolving? Close your eyes and think back to the early 2000s. What was the must-have gadget? Not an iPhone, not an Android, it was a BlackBerry. If you had one, you were someone important. CEOs, politicians, and even celebrities. They were all glued to this little device with its clicky, QWERTY keyboard. They called it Crackberry. Here's the thing. BlackBerry wasn't just a phone, it was the phone. In 2003, they introduced push email technology, delivering messages instantly to your device. No refreshing, no delays, your inbox was in your pocket. By 2005, BlackBerry Messenger or BBM had arrived and texting suddenly felt prehistoric. BBM was secure, fast, and exclusive to BlackBerry users. Having a BlackBerry meant being a part of a prestigious club. The numbers tell the story. By 2007, BlackBerry commanded 50% of the US smartphone market and nearly 20% worldwide. Their stock peaked at $147 per share and the company's valuation soared to over $60 billion. BlackBerry was so dominant that even President Obama famously refused to give up his device when he took office in 2009. But here's the twist. Success has a way to breeding complacency. As BlackBerry was riding high, Apple was working on something revolutionary, a touchscreen phone without a keyboard. BlackBerry scoffed at the idea. But what happens when the industry evolves faster than you do? Could BlackBerry's unmatched dominance actually blind them to the storm brewing on the horizon? By 2007, BlackBerry was at the top of its game. Its devices were everywhere. Boardrooms, airports, even the White House. But just as BlackBerry was celebrating its dominance, a new challenger emerged. On January 9, 2007, Steve Jobs took the stage to unveil a device that would change everything: the iPhone.
Well, what we're going to do is get rid of all these buttons and just make a giant screen. A giant screen.
At first, BlackBerry didn't see the iPhone as a threat. A phone without a physical keyboard? They called it a gimmick. Balsillie said, "Try typing a web key on a touchscreen on an Apple iPhone. That's a real challenge. You cannot see what you type." But here's the thing. BlackBerry wasn't just dismissing the iPhone, they were dismissing a revolution.
Every once in a while, a revolutionary product comes along that changes everything.
The iPhone introduced touchscreens, apps, and a sleek design that appealed to both consumers and businesses. It was a phone, a browser, a media player, an all-in-one device that BlackBerry couldn't match. Just a year later, in 2008, Google entered the fray with Android. It created an open source platform that allowed manufacturers like Samsung and HTC to flood the market with touchscreen phones. While Apple and Google were innovating, BlackBerry was doubling down on its corporate-first strategy. They believed their stronghold in business users and government contracts would protect them. But the market was changing. Smartphones weren't just tools anymore. They were lifestyle devices. People didn't just want emails, they wanted apps, games, and entertainment. And the numbers began to tell a different story. By 2010, BlackBerry's global market share dropped to 19.1%, down from 50% in the US just 3 years prior. Meanwhile, Apple and Android were rapidly gaining ground, capturing millions of customers. So why didn't BlackBerry act? Were they too confident? Too stubborn? The answer lies in what happened next. BlackBerry didn't just lose the battle for innovation, they became trapped by their own success. And the cracks that were forming, they were about to become an avalanche. As BlackBerry struggled to navigate a rapidly changing market, its troubles were compounded by a series of scandals and controversies that would tarnish its once sterling reputation. These weren't just missteps, they were cracks in the foundation of a crumbling empire. Let's start with 2007's stock options backdating scandal. BlackBerry, then Research in Motion or RIM, admitted to improperly accounting for over 1,400 stock options issued between 1998 and 2006, resulting in penalties totaling to $1.43 million. Co-CEO Mike Lazaridis and Jim Balsillie faced significant backlash, with Balsillie stepping down as chairman of the board. While no criminal charges were filed, the damage to investor confidence was severe. Then came the encryption battles. BlackBerry's hallmark feature, end-to-end encryption, put it in the crosshairs of governments worldwide. In 2010, countries like India, Saudi Arabia, and the UAE demanded access to BlackBerry's servers, citing national security concerns. BlackBerry reluctantly agreed to set up local servers to avoid bans, but this eroded its promise of privacy. It didn't stop there. In 2013, Edward Snowden's revelations exposed the NSA's access to supposedly secure BlackBerry communications, raising doubts about its commitment to privacy. Around the same time, BlackBerry Messenger was implicated during the 2011 London riots, as rioters used the platform to organize looting, leading to calls for greater regulation.
I think the rioters have found it a very efficient tool for communicating and being able to effectively outwit the police by very quickly allowing them to move between areas that they know the police haven't been to yet. If you use BlackBerry Messenger, it's usually just your local group of contacts you've personally approved can see your messages. That's why they've been preferring to use it. As we saw earlier this year, it could be used to organise a student protest in ways the police weren't used to. So I imagine they're looking to invest in this area, but haven't done so yet.
On top of that, BlackBerry faced several outages, like the infamous 2011 global outage that left millions of users disconnected for days. These missteps came at a critical time when the company could least afford to alienate its loyal user base. One controversy after another painted BlackBerry as a company struggling to balance security, ethics, and innovation. And as the trust of its customers and investors began to erode, the company's future hung in the balance. Could BlackBerry recover, stay relevant, or were these controversies the beginning of the end? Let's pause for a moment. I know you're here to uncover the shocking story of BlackBerry's rise and fall. But let me ask you, how do you make sure your career doesn't follow the same trajectory? How do you ensure you're not just keeping up, but staying ahead in today's rapidly changing world? Here's the truth. Success in any field isn't just about working hard. It's about working smart and positioning yourself as the expert, the one who can adapt, innovate, and deliver results that truly matter. And that's exactly what Lean Six Sigma certifications from the Advanced Innovation Group Pro Excellence or AIGPE can help you achieve. Whether you're looking to start fresh or advance in your current role, AIGPE certifications like Six Sigma White Belt, Yellow Belt, Green Belt, or Black Belt aren't just impressive additions to your resume. They are career game changers. They open doors, boost your credibility, and give you the skills to solve complex problems efficiently. Here's why these certifications from AIGPE are crucial for your growth. First, they are globally recognized. AIGPE certifications are accredited by the globally renowned CPD certification service, ensuring they are respected worldwide. Next, as an authorized training partner of the Project Management Institute, AIGPE certifications come pre-approved for PDUs, making them an ideal choice for project management professionals looking to level up. And for those in HR, AIGPE is also a SHRM or Society for Human Resource Management recertification partner, meaning these certifications contribute to your professional development credits. But the real edge, practical real-world learning. You will gain actionable knowledge that you can apply immediately to make an impact in your organization. And here's the best part. These programs from AIGPE are incredibly affordable. You can get cutting-edge expertise for less than the cost of your daily coffee during their sale period. What about you? Are you ready to take control of your career and become the expert everyone looks up to? Check out the link in the description to explore AIGPE's Six Sigma and Lean certifications. Whether you're starting with a white or yellow belt, or ready for leadership roles with the green or black belt, there is a certification designed to fuel your success. Before we continue, don't forget to subscribe to this channel, hit the bell icon for updates, and share this with someone who's ready to unlock their full potential. Now, let's dive back in and explore how BlackBerry's catastrophic mistakes accelerated its downfall. As BlackBerry fought to stay relevant, a series of catastrophic decisions and product failures accelerated its decline. These weren't just bad ideas, they were missed opportunities that left BlackBerry reeling as competitors surged ahead. Take the BlackBerry Playbook tablet, launched in 2011. Marketed as a direct rival to Apple's iPad, the Playbook was riddled with flaws. It lacked basic features like an email client unless paired with a BlackBerry phone, an inexplicable decision for a company built on email connectivity. Critics and consumers panned it, leading to massive unsold inventory and a $485 million write-down. Then there was the BlackBerry 10 operating system, which finally launched in 2013, 5 years after Apple's App Store and Android's Play Store had already established dominance. While BlackBerry 10 was sleek and innovative, it was too late. Developers had already abandoned BlackBerry for platforms with larger user bases, leaving BlackBerry 10's app ecosystem barren. The Z10, BlackBerry's first BB10 powered phone, flopped.
Unlike iPhone launches in the past, which have become major tech events, there were no lineups to get the Z10.
Despite heavy marketing, only 2.7 million units sold in its first quarter, far short of expectations. And who can forget the 2013 Super Bowl ad disaster?
Tomorrow will bring maybe sunshine and maybe it rain. But as for me, I'll wait and see. And maybe it'll bring my love to me.
In 30 seconds, it's quicker to show you what it can't do. The new BlackBerry Z10.
BlackBerry spent millions on a vague commercial for the Z10, yet failed to showcase the phone's features. It became a textbook example of ineffective marketing during a critical time. Perhaps the most glaring misstep was BlackBerry's refusal to adapt to the touchscreen revolution. While Apple and Android capitalized on consumer demand, BlackBerry clung to its physical keyboards, alienating users looking for modern designs and larger screens. These features didn't just hurt BlackBerry's bottom line, they shattered its reputation for innovation. By the time BlackBerry attempted to course correct, the smartphone market had moved on. Was there still time for redemption, or was BlackBerry's fate sealed?
Tonight I want to talk about first smartphones. For a lot of people, it was this one. A sleek black frame, wide QWERTY keyboards, and a weird but cool-looking logo. It's a BlackBerry. I know it brings back a lot of memories. But how do you describe this device to young people? You could say it was the iPhone of the 2000s. Back then, you did not have a phone, you had a BlackBerry.
While BlackBerry's products stumbled, its leadership structure became another glaring issue. At its peak, BlackBerry was led by co-CEO Mike Lazaridis and Jim Balsillie, a unique arrangement that had initially driven innovation. Lazaridis was the visionary, obsessed with engineering excellence, while Balsillie was the strategist, focused on business expansion. But as the company grew, this dual CEO system created confusion and inefficiency at critical moments. One of the biggest criticisms was their failure to respond to Apple's and Android's rise. Lazaridis dismissed touchscreens, calling them impractical, while Balsillie failed to shift the company's focus from enterprise users to consumers. Instead of acting decisively, they clung to BlackBerry's existing strengths, security and keyboards, while the market rapidly evolved. This inability to adapt was compounded by conflicting visions, with both CEOs pulling the company in different directions. The cracks became undeniable by 2011 as BlackBerry's market cap plummeted from $17.03 billion in August to just $9.36 billion in November. That same year, BlackBerry announced a massive 2,000-person layoff, the first of many cost-cutting measures. Investors grew frustrated, demanding a clearer chain of command. In 2012, both Lazaridis and Balsillie stepped down, replaced by Thorsten Heinz as CEO. But the damage was already done. Heinz faced the Herculean task of reviving a company that was losing ground daily. His tenure saw desperate attempts to reboot BlackBerry's product line, including the BlackBerry 10 operating system, but with little success. The lack of unified leadership during critical years left BlackBerry rudderless. While Apple and Google drove forward with clear visions, BlackBerry remained trapped in indecision. In 2016, BlackBerry finally exited the smartphone hardware business, announcing it would focus solely on software and licensing its brand to third-party manufacturers like TCL. While TCL produced BlackBerry-branded phones for a few years, they lacked the innovation that had once defined the company. The decision to abandon smartphones marked the end of an era. BlackBerry's inability to adapt to the changing consumer demands and technological advancements had sealed its fate. But instead of disappearing entirely, BlackBerry took a bold step. It reinvented itself. Under the leadership of CEO John Chen, BlackBerry pivoted away from hardware to focus on software and cyber security, two areas where it still had an edge. BlackBerry's new focus was simple: secure communications for enterprises and governments. It began leveraging its legacy of encryption and data protection to build a suite of products tailored to modern security needs. BlackBerry QNX, a robust operating system for embedded systems, became the backbone of this strategy. Today, QNX is widely used in industries like healthcare and automotive, powering critical systems in over 255 million vehicles worldwide.
Lion's share of embedded software in most of the cars. So this is really as an offshoot of the result of the strategy shift in 2016, which is where we went from phone to non-phone.
BlackBerry also doubled down on cybersecurity, acquiring companies like Cylance in 2018 for $1.4 billion. Cylance's expertise in artificial intelligence and endpoint security positioned BlackBerry as a leader in preventing cyber attacks. This pivot was successful. By 2020, BlackBerry's software and services division accounted for 90% of its revenue. But there's a catch. While BlackBerry has carved out a niche in cybersecurity, it hasn't recaptured the global recognition it once enjoyed. Its revenues in 2023 stood at $656 million, a far cry from its peak of $19 billion in 2011. Yet, BlackBerry's story is far from over. Its transformation into a software-first company has stabilized its operations and earned it respect as a pioneer in secure technologies. Is this reinvention enough to secure its future? Or is BlackBerry destined to remain a relic of its former glory? One thing is clear, BlackBerry's journey from a smartphone giant to a cybersecurity firm is a proof of resilience in the face of near extinction. I hope you found the story of BlackBerry intriguing. If you are ready for an even more controversial business story, check out the video linked right here. Trust me, it's one you don't want to miss. I will see you there in just a moment. Cheers.